Once, upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over a many-a-quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this, nothing more." Distinctly I remember, it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow from the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard the tapping, something louder than before. "Surely," I said, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter in there stepped a stately raven of saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of a countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn or shaven, thou," I said, "art short or craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering on the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's plutonium shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear such discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed by seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on that placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he muttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before on the morrow. He will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it mutters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, to the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, never more. But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I willed a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door, when upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, nevermore. Thus I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press. Never more. Then methought the air grew denser. Perfume from an unseen censer swung by seraphim whose footfall tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he led thee, sent thee respite, respite and repent from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind repent and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, in this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp the sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked up starting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's plutonium shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on a pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of demons that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow lies floating on the floor. Shall be lifted nevermore. Okay, I admit it, I didn't want to do The Raven. How do you top Christopher Walken or Vincent Price? You can't. But I wanted to do something else, another book, literature. I wanted to do something for Halloween. And I could have done Ichabod Crane, I could have done Telltale Heart, something not so obvious, and yet The Raven calls. So I looked it over to see if it was something I could bring to you on YouTube. And the more I read it, the more I was really taken by it. It's not just the intonations of the poem as we've heard done by famous people. It isn't just that it's Edgar Allan Poe. It isn't just the Raven with its repeating of nevermore. There actually is a heart to this story of a man slowly going mad, driving himself mad, and allowing circumstances in his life to tip him over the balance, I think. And so that's why I wanted to bring it to you. I hope I did it some justice. I know I can't be Christopher Walken or Vincent Price. But in the meantime, if you have any ideas of something you'd like me to do for YouTube, email me, send me a comment, and I'll consider it. Thank you for watching, and happy Halloween.